Good evening, Geoff.
Good evening, Pete.
Can hear you loud and clear. For people that are not aware of what you've written in the blog, I'm going to mention one or two things here and like to give you a sort of argument about why you're saying this. Okay, I take out some of your points. I won't go on about the levy side too much, but it'll be some of the other events. Premium events to be incentivised to move from Saturday slots with appropriate increases in rights and levy. Explain to the audience what you mean by that, Geoff.
Well, essentially, British racing has got itself into a position right now, driven by racetracks, where we have all the power, all the jewels, all the entertainment on a Saturday or on our festivals. And midweek, we're subjected to very poor class of racing. They will have sort of Yarmouth, Leicester and Musselburgh midweek. And this is not drawing the customers into the betting shops. What we seem to be doing is inventing a situation whereby there's no incentive to drive betting customers into the betting shops, because we seem to be sacrificing the middle of the week and indeed Sundays. Sorry?
I was going to say, obviously, as well, we've had the situation where the Derby's been moved from the Wednesday to the Saturday. Can I ask you, Geoff, do you get more revenue on a Saturday than you would if that race was on a Wednesday, though?
No, I don't think so, not at all, especially not when you have the Derby opposed by 8 meetings, to include Lingfield down the road. I mean, I don't understand the thinking when racetracks do this kind of thing. Presumably they have discussions amongst each other as to what is the best program for the sport, but they seem to be driving everything on a sort of self basis, and what's good for us and when we're going to race and when we're going to make the most revenue, whereas at the greater sport undoubtedly suffers because of these policies.
Now, the next point you make is about racetracks to be penalised with total loss of funding for production of races of under 5 runners. Now, we obviously had a situation today with Yarmouth. Presumably that would be one of your tracks that you'd penalise.
Well, it's not individually Yarmouth that one would tackle, but any racetrack that produces a race of under 5 runners should be penalised. And similarly, if they produce a field of over 10 or 12 runners, they are incentivised. We have to give the racetracks involvement in the product that they're putting on. Right now, we have a situation where it appears to be that a racetrack can just put any old rubbish on, get paid their media and rights and levy payments, sit back and collect the cheque. And in the meantime, betting suffers. And we have to remember that it is betting that is funding the meeting.
And you've also put in there rewarding racetracks for increased field sizes. This sounds to me it's quite a bookmaker biased here, because you obviously want more than 10 runners.
No, it's a punter bias, because anything that's good for the punter will be good for the bookmakers. So the punters are not interested in 5-runner races and 3-runner races and 7-runner races.
They're interested in winning, Geoff. They're interested in winning money, Geoff.
No, what we're talking about is what drives betting. And our most popular betting events throughout the programme are our bigger field competitive events. That is just factual, Pete.
Okay. Now, obviously, one thing I do definitely agree with you here is, and we can debate this, but we might take a quick break. We'll keep you on the line after, because we came to you a bit late. No, you want a stop on summer jumping programme for 2 months, and you want all-weather racing, sort of in opposition to key festivals like the Derby.
Indeed. I think National Hunt Racing has some serious issues, perhaps the most serious issues in the sport. It's got very low field sizes. It's blighted by all their top stars avoiding each other and spending months in their boxes. And what I want to do is try to come up with a scheme whereby it can improve the field sizes, and I believe, and also to sort of give the sport a higher profile. If you stop summer jumping for 2 months, you can help address the field size issue and give National Hunt Racing more of an identity, more of a slot in the programme.
And also about the fixture list, I mean, it's quite ridiculous, isn't it? In some cases, we've had Yarmouth run on the same day as Newmarket. We had 3 Northern meetings, I think, last week in Carlisle and Hamilton and Newcastle. something that's got to be done about that as well, surely, Geoff.
Well, indeed. Geolocation is an important factor, and also we mustn't have our top racetracks always competing with each other for TV, for interest, for betting. What we need to do is perhaps have an Ascot and a York on a Saturday and move a Newmarket over to a Wednesday or a Thursday and pay it more to incentivize Newmarket to move off its Saturday slot. So we encourage them, we pay them to race on days where betting, will be better.
And from a on-course bookmaker, Geoff, apart from the sort of big meetings at York or at Newmarket midweek, presumably from your point of view, it's absolutely pointless you taking a pitch down to a race course during the week. Is that well, and you just your business now practically is a day a week, maybe two if you're lucky.
Yeah, it's a one day week event for most on-course bookmakers, and that's just factual. And therefore, that only exacerbates the problem of weak betting markets on course, and why I argue that the on-course market should be completely devolved from the SP mechanism. I believe it doesn't represent the weight of money. And I believe that what I'm arguing is that the major bookmakers, the exchanges and the tote, should be involved in producing SPs and shows, because an on-course market with 8 bookmakers or 5 bookmakers is not representative of the weight of money. It's subject to huge integrity concerns, and it's time we address this problem and stop having a situation where the massive liquidity provided by companies like Ladbrokes is totally ignored in betting terms.
Geoff, talk to us about the integrity concerns. I mean, obviously, we're punters around the table. You work in the industry. Are you saying that you can manipulate the odds because simply on course there's no one there?
Yeah, absolutely. It's pathetically easy to manipulate the odds. You can manipulate the odds on weak exchanges, particularly the BetDAC exchange, which is excessively weak, or you could manipulate it at tracks like, say, Kempton or Southwell or Wolverhampton, where the bookmakers there typically wouldn't take much more than, say, £500 a race. So they're not going to turn around to William Hill or Ladbrokes, and when they walk up to them and say, we'll give you £300, £400 for the favourite, take under the odds, as long as you take the price off. That is unfair manipulation of the market, because it doesn't represent the global pound.
And before you go, I mean, obviously you feel very strongly, and there's another thing that you said about cutting fixtures, but can I ask you a question? Does your turnover dramatically go down in 5-6 runner handicaps compared to 16, 17 runner handicaps? Does your turnover go down, Geoff?
Dramatically. Anybody that focuses on the racing product, when you have low field size events, they're riddled with favourites and gambles and everything like that. They are subject to very low turnover levels. Summer jumping, which we discussed a little earlier, Peter, is one of the lowest betting products of the whole cake.
Okay. Well, thanks very much indeed. We're going to dissect some of that and talk about it here in the studio. Obviously, some people are going to be tweeting away. Thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
Hopefully, I'll see you at Sandown. I'm going to make my way to Sandown. Hopefully, see you then. Have a good time there at the Coral Eclipse Day. And thanks for your time this evening.
Thanks, Pete.
Thanks very much.